Good morning. It's very early. It's like 7:30, but I thought this might be the quietest time to do a little update. Oh, Heidi. So it's been a while, so there's lots of updates, but I got this lilac planted. I also just last night planted this black-eyed Susan. That's why it's looking a little bit wilty. I'll have to make sure it gets some water in a minute. That's a little dahlia and some sunflowers. Those are both annuals, so they'll be dead come a couple months from now. But for now, they look real pretty. Then I planted some coreopsis right there. That was given to me by Nana Crystal. So we got a ton of milkweed this year, and the butterflies were going crazy. I have tons of pictures. I just didn't do any videos this year. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. But tons of bee balm. Most of the flowers have died off, but there it is. I'm going to be collecting a ton of that seed and spreading it around because, again, the bees, butterflies, everybody's going crazy for it. Unfortunately, it does not last nearly as long as the milkweed, but that's all right. I got a lily here. It's looking a little weak. It's at the end of the life, but it will be back next year. So I'll start getting some of those, which I have wanted some. They're the ones that kind of like hang down and spread out like that. So they're cool. And then we've got this gigantic peach tree, also from Crystal. It's a Red Haven, and she said it already has some fruit, so I'm excited about that. But it's going to go over there in that gigantic clump of brush, which needs to be cut down and moved, whatever, I don't know exactly, but that's all ironweed, so I don't want to get rid of it. I just need to, it just needs to go somewhere else. So some of it's been pulled up because I do have a baby peach planted over there, and it was starting to block out the sun, so I did have to go through and chop a bunch of that, unfortunately, but so it's coming back. But so I've got that one, and then I've also got that little tiny peach tree there, so I've got 3 Red Haven peaches to be planted. What happened here? This goes crazy. Another lilac bush, still doing good. I planted this one before, so you might remember it. It looks like we're getting some fungus. Yeah, we're having some very wet weather. Oh, this guy's probably gonna have to move. It actually came back last year. I think it's Elysium, but I'm not 100% on that. It's just if it's an Elysium, it won't come back. But I might be able to get some seeds off of it. I don't know. We'll see. I think Crystal's got more, if not. I don't know what that is, but that looks like a tree of some sort. I don't know. I'll have to search that up. Yeah, all of this fucking milkweed. And it was a banging spot this summer. Super banging. It had so many butterflies and bees and stuff. It was crazy. It was awesome. I had to actually cut a lot of it out a little bit because it was crowding my hyssop. So I might have to move the hyssop and just make this a milkweed patch. I don't know. We'll see. But there's a little bit of other things mixed in. Looks like maybe some bone set there. Over there. And then there's a little bit of asters scattered here and there. I did try an experiment with some of the milkweed to see if it would rebloom if I deadheaded it. It does not appear to have worked, but that's all right. It was just an experiment. And I've got plenty of milkweed seed here for spreading. So this bush is actually quite interesting. I didn't know about it. I didn't plant this. This is something that sprouted. And then just kind of took over. It's quite big. I'm going to have to, I've already seriously chopped the tops off of it, as you might be able to tell. But this is artissima, or also known as wormwood. So, signs of the evil one, as it is. I've got it here. I'm going to keep this one bush here. I think it looks kind of cool. And I'm going to keep pruning it down until it looks like an actual bush. And that'll be good. So, but I need to, stretch out some more flowers here, because this will get big. And I think that's about as tall as I want to let it get, but we'll see. So I don't want blocking, like, you know, pulling out view. There you go, Bean. I know. You're excited. I did a little more work on the wattle. Finding the sticks is really the hard part at this point. But I did get all of the legs in. Remember, these were kind of wobbly, so I got those stuck down way good when it was raining so much and the soil was soft. Yeah, got that all in there. So you stay on the grass. That's what we're working on right now. We have to stay on the grass, right? Oh, you want me to throw the thing? All right. I suppose I can do that. Oops. Throw it on the porch. So we got asters. All these little asters here. And this, I forget what that one is, but it's something. Bone set, I believe. A few more little sunflowers here. More asters. Another bone set, another aster. All those are gonna look lovely here very shortly. This is another aster. It's a smooth blue aster. I don't know what these other ones are over here, like what color they'll be. So they'll either be probably white or blue. But yeah, so that aster was planted and started by Crystal. This one is a mum. And then she also gave me another mum. And I believe they're the same color because I think there was like a dead flower on it when she got it to me. So these will eventually form one nice huge clump of that. My bee balm patch came back nice and strong, twice as good as last year. These cornflowers or bachelor's buttons or something, I forget exactly, but they're doing pretty nice. I didn't expect them to come back, to be honest. I thought they were annuals, but cool. I'll take it if they reseeded or what. They did get munched a bit, I think, by the groundhog. So that's pretty cool. But and hopefully they'll keep coming back. I won't. They can take over all over. I don't care. So my little pot's getting overrun with this stuff, but I've got plans. I'm going to be starting to spread that all around and just cover everything. I'll cover all this mulch as much as possible. Green mulch for the win. Let's see what else we got here. So there's also, it's hard to tell because they kind of died back. I planted these little guys. These are like, I think verbena is what they were. I forget exactly, but they're like ground cover with like little purple flowers. So it's just very pretty. I'm hoping it will come back and start spreading. It was actually originally over there, but it was getting shrouded out by all the bigger plants because I thought that was an annual, but it's not, so that's cool. I will accept it, but I took it, and they mostly have died back, as I said, but I planted some roots in several different spots. I've been watering them even though they look dead. So, we'll see if they come back. And then I also, when I was digging around in there and clearing some things out, found another coneflower. Sorry, an echinacea. So when I pulled up, there's actually 3 different root sets. So we've got this one here, which doesn't look great, but we'll see. Yeah, like I said, it's a perennial. So if I keep watering it, the roots may continue to go. We'll see. Oh, hush. So then there's the next one, and then there's the next one. So I'll have a nice line of like dark purple flowers that get about this tall. So that'll look nice in front of that, because this is my big bone set that I planted last year. And it's fucking took off this year. I might have to chop it down at least, like this high for driving purposes and coming out of the thing. Because I like to have a clear view, so I don't want to plant anything that's going to block the view so too much. Let's see what else we got here. We've got 2 little butterfly weeds. Those are the little yellow milkweeds that you see around. So I've got 2 of those right there. Hoping that's gonna expand a bit. Another pretty dahlia, actually probably 2, because there's yellow and purple. No, they're on the same. I don't know. It's cool either way, but they're very pretty. If they come back, they cool. And if they don't, we'll see. Another one of those verbenas. There's one over there too, but I think this whole little piece right here is gonna have to go if I ever get this walkway going. But until then, it's good. All right, let's see here. So my 9-bush is doing really good. They're dark red. And I had unfortunately learned that the dark red variants of native plants are not as appreciated with the wildlife as the regular green ones, which I didn't know, but they still look cool and they do still provide some benefit, even if just as cover for wildlife. So, you know, we're keeping them. They're going to be my little flanky bushes. They look cool. And Crystal has a green one, and I'm going to try and get a little bit of that from her at some point. All right, and then last night, when I was planting those other stuff, this is the other stuff I planted. I got this huge bunch of coreopsis. I actually got all these flowers from Crystal, so. I got this huge bunch of coreopsis. So I got that planted. I put some paper down, got all this done. I still got this patch right here, but we'll worry about that. We'll get to it. Another aster, a blue one. It's got some powdered mildew, but that's all right. It's been so wet this year, you can't really help it at this point. Another coreopsis. So this whole back line here over this wattle fence will have coreopsis hanging over. I thought that's gonna look so cute. A little more milkweed back here behind the bone set. And then another coreopsis. So basically along this row, you can't really tell, I've got another coreopsis to plant right over there. So this whole row will have the coreopsis and asters, the smooth blue asters hanging over. So it's got to be these guys and little like bluey purple flowers. It's going to look cute. It's going to look cute. There you go, Bean. So back here, eventually this is going to start getting pulled up, but because I've been working on the fence, I've also been trying to pull the grass away from mixing in. So like right there, I'm going to have to put another little bed on this side. Because I do have to keep this part clear for Mark to get to the grass. But so those are going to be my boundaries. It's like that fence and that fence, and then the rest has to be grass. But I can put a strip there. And I've got this cool stone, concrete, I don't know, bird bath head. So I need to get a dish or a planter or something to put on top of that. But that's going to look cool. So this corner, it's getting close to completion, I think, here. It's getting done. Sorry, I should move like that. So my red buds, I'm very happy. This red bud took off this year. As you can see. Doing good. I will be eventually expanding that out a little bit and cleaning it up. And those plastic boards are going to be around that other peach tree because I've got one other bed for the peach over there, so I need one more bed. But so that'll clear it out and get some other stuff around it. More flowers. My other my other redbud tree came back too. I was very excited. This one I thought might have died, but it persevered. And it's coming back strong. This fence will eventually probably be removed, but for now it's going to stay. These are little asters that sprung up in front of it naturally. I'm keeping them. They're going to fit in nicely there. What you doing, silly bean? You need to stay out of my garden. All right, so here's the state of the garden at the moment. I was never able to get enough dirt dug up to fill this bed. It sucks, but it is what it is. So we'll get to it eventually. Worst comes to worst, I'll probably put in some of the giant stack of wood chips that have been sitting there for a couple of months, thanks to Chip Drop, which is, if you don't know, is a place you can get free wood drops from arborists. So I signed up for it, and I got a nice big stack after a month or two. It's kind of a long wait surprise type of deal. But anyways, we've got another coreopsis here. I might put another coreopsis here, like just make this little coreopsis corner. We'll see what happens. And then here at the back, we've got hollyhocks. So I've got 3 of those. They're actually biennial, so they're every other year, but they love to seed. So, and as you can see here, this one's starting to come out, seeds and whatnot. So I will be spreading those around all on this thing. So they're going to be having this big red bud here as their backdrop. And they get pretty tall. They can get up to like, 8 foot tall. So I'm going to have those all along this little back here. And that branch needs to get going. But I did do a little pruning on this to kind of clean it up. We'll see it on the other side. Bean. But yeah, so hollyhocks there. There's like a light pink and a hot pink. So it looks pretty cool. And then these guys, I planted last night. I actually pulled them up out of a ditch. Don't judge me. These are white chicory. So I was very excited to see this. I didn't even know they were actually a thing. But I saw it and I said, it looks like chicory, but it's white. And chicory, I don't know if anybody knows, it has little blue flowers. I might be able to find some later because there is some growing around. But apparently white and also pink are rare variants. And this was growing right next to some blue, so it's really just a mutation of the flower color. But there were 3 stems of it. I yanked them up. So there's quite a bit of roots that are in the ground, so those will come back. And then hopefully the amount of root that got pulled up here will be enough to sustain these at least until they're established. That's why I cut the tops off, because if you plant something with a lot of foliage and things like that, and it has a very small root system after you've yanked it, even if it's something that, can handle that, what'd you do? What did you do? You okay? Silly puppy. What was I saying? But yeah, anyway, if the root ball or whatever is very small or the roots are very damaged, you want to prune it back so that it doesn't have as much to support, is basically the gist. So those are going to be getting watered to get established. Once they're established, they probably won't need water. Yeah, so very excited about that. Very excited. I don't even know. Chicory is something you can use as a coffee substitute, or some people like to mix it with their coffee. It adds a little bit of a different flavor, but it's very common. And I'm curious to see if the white chicory will have any different in taste. I mean, obviously I don't drink coffee, but I could definitely make some and give it to Crystal, who does drink coffee. I planted a little bit of stuff last year here, just sprinkled wildflower seeds. I don't think a whole bunch came up, but it's hard to know. Things got kind of wild here for a bit, but one of the things that did grow, we have a lovely little aster here, and we have one in here that's going to have to get moved once this, I'll probably just let it go and then chop the stalks down. Oh, that's poison. Alright, no, that's got to get all covered anyway, so. Started working on this side too. That part over there does have cardboard under it, so we're getting to this part, and then I'll have to put a little piece of paper there to patch that. But in this spot here, I'm going to put a rosemary bush. I've got some more rosemary stalks in water, waiting for them to root, because I did unfortunately let my last ones dry out too much. That was my bad. Trying to think what else. All my saffron came back. They're died off right now, but they were there, and they grew pretty well, and most of them flowered. So I'm just going to let them sit. They'll come back at some point, and I'm just going to keep letting them multiply. Oh, my strawberries looking pretty dead. I got to get them planted. They're going around those peach trees though, so hopefully soon. I need to water them, I guess, so. But yeah, tomatoes. All of those are volunteer tomatoes. I need to go through, weed them out, cage them up. Some of them are getting spots on them because they were of the weather and stuff. But yeah, the weather's been ridiculous. It gets too hot. I can't be outside. Too humid, wet bulb shit. So I'm outside for 15 minutes. So I'm doing 5 seconds of gardening here and there. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. This part's getting crap. We're going to have to put some cardboard there too. But look at those asparagus! So excited. So I got the asparagus. So there's a lot of strawberries there. Some weeds. Got to go through and dig some stuff up. Some of it's also stuff that I would transplant. Like there's some bone sets and stuff in here. So, and those might be these little lilies right there. Those might be the blue-eyed. What are they called? Dang it, I can't even think of what they're called now. They're tiny irises. Blue-eyed grass. That's what they're called. So they look kind of like grass, but they have little blue flowers come up, and they're in the iris family. Planted a few more over here. We got like a little aster. We got a little bone set. So all of this stuff's going to be planted. And we'll have a nice little walkway here for stuff. Alright, this got moved over. It was over there at that corner. And well, it wasn't doing good there. I did meet a nice friendly little snake in there. I think he was actually trying to molt because his eyes were covered over. It was either that or he's really, really old and blind. I don't know. But yeah, I had to move that because there's going to be a little hydrangea over there in that corner. So all that stuff that was already in there and it was kind of like partially decomposed went into the compost. So as you can see, it was full to the top and now it's cooking down. Probably needs a stir, a little water, but we'll get there. More stuff, random tools. Gotta redo this whole little bit here in this front area, get this cardboarded. Probably gonna pull those out and then just like make a path from there to there. So we'll see. Sweet potatoes. I planted some last year. Nothing really happened. And in the spring I was like, well, screw it. I'm gonna go crazy. I had some sweet potatoes that were going bad. So I stuck them in here. They did finally come up. I figured they died, but nope, they're here. So, I mean, I don't know if they're going to provide much of a harvest because of the growing season's pretty short. But, yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sweet potatoes that came up. Pretty exciting. Those are some onions that grew, red onions. I need to gather those seeds because the onion itself won't be edible this year. I can try it for, next year. But yeah, so that's what's going on there with all that stuff. Not much. And then I started work on the other side of this bed. You can see here a little bit where I cleared this out. And there's probably a couple more branches that are going to have to be taken. Although I might leave this one. This one looks nice. Flowers under it and stuff. But, and for under here, I've started planting some asters. So hopefully this will be a nice big aster patch. That little plastic thing, like I said, those are going to have to go to the other peach, but it has served its purpose as protecting that tree from being destroyed again. But yeah, this is my miracle redbud. So it did well this year. It had tons of seeds. Look at this. Anybody need redbud seed, let me know. This block here was in front of that other compost bin, so I pulled it out to give this a more stable base. Looks like it needs some water. Still working on this. I don't know. This might not be the final spot for it. I didn't see any action on it. So, but I put the rocks in to help insects get in and out of the water, and it provides them a place to drink. Plus, I also thought that the white rocks would prevent the water from getting as hot. I don't know. I haven't tested it, per se, but that was the idea. And then plus those little rocks on the side would help the insects, again, like when the water level is, higher up. So they have to have little places to climb out. Bean. So that's that half of the garden. It's already 25 minutes long. I think I'm going to stop it here for now. Maybe I'll do the other half later. But so that's my update. I have been doing stuff, just haven't been videoing. So see y'all.